She sat on the curb in front of the old community center, knees pulled up to her chest, denim jacket soaked through from the evening drizzle. Her tiny fingers clutched a crumpled piece of lined notebook paper, words written in blue crayon smeared from the rain. A passing jogger glanced at her, slowed for half a second, then kept going. 8-year-old Rosie didn't cry. Not anymore. She'd learned to keep the tears inside like her mama always said. Crying doesn't pay rent, baby. But her chest ached. A grown-up kind of ache. The kind of ache little girls shouldn't know. Her backpack, pink and peeling, sat beside her. Inside, the paper she'd dropped was a letter she wrote in secret. The words weren't meant for Santa or the Tooth Fairy. They were for a man she hadn't met yet but hoped existed. She called it the letter that might fix everything. It read, "Dear nice man, if you're reading this, I just want to say please marry my mom. She is pretty and she makes the best grilled cheese. She works a lot and her feet hurt. I think if you came, she would laugh again. Please be nice. We don't need a lot of money. Just someone who stays. I can share my blanket. Love, Rosie." That evening, her mother, Angie, came rushing from the building in her worn nurse scrubs, hair falling from a bun. Her eyes widened when she saw Rosie sitting in the drizzle. "Rosie, baby, why didn't you come inside? You'll catch cold." Rosie didn't answer right away. She just looked up and said, "Did anyone find my letter?" Angie froze. She crouched, confused. "What letter, sweetheart?" Rosie didn't reply. She stood and walked beside her mother, the letter left behind on the bench outside the community food pantry. The next morning, the letter was found. Jack Cardenas, the quiet, broad-shouldered man who stocked the shelves early every Saturday, spotted it while wiping rainwater from the donation bench. He unfolded the crinkled note, read it once, then again slower. Something inside him shifted. He stared out into the empty lot, then carefully folded the paper and slipped it into his flannel shirt pocket. Jack wasn't a man easily stirred. He was 42, a former high school shop teacher turned hardware store clerk, the kind of man who fixed broken porch swings and helped widows with their garage lights without ever expecting a thank you. His heart had been quiet for years, ever since his wife, Elise, passed away 5 winters ago. But that letter, that handwriting, those words from a little girl who just wanted her mom to laugh again, it tugged at something buried. The following Saturday, Jack brought a small potted sunflower and left it on the donation bench with a sticky note. "To Rosie's mom. You sound like someone special. If you ever need help fixing things, I live above the hardware store on 6th and Maple." Jack, he didn't expect anything. But 2 weeks later, Angie appeared at the store. Her hair was neatly tied back, cheeks flushed pink from the wind. Rosie stood beside her, her tiny hand wrapped tight around her mom's fingers. "I'm not used to taking help," Angie said, clearing her throat awkwardly. "But our kitchen faucet's been leaking, and Rosie keeps asking if we can go see the sunflower man, so here we are." Jack stood still for a second, then grinned the kind of grin that crept slowly up the face, genuine, unsure, a little bashful. "Well," he said, brushing dust off his jeans, "I'd be honored to take a look." That afternoon, Rosie followed Jack around the tiny apartment kitchen, watching him work. She offered him orange slices, told him about her favorite teacher, her broken bike, her mama's sore feet. Jack listened, every word. And Angie, she noticed how gently he handled Rosie's chatter, noticed how he didn't pretend to have all the answers, but offered quiet presence, how he never once mentioned being just doing a favor, and how Rosie smiled more that week than she had in months. The kindness was small, a fixed faucet, a repaired cabinet hinge, a forgotten toy Jack brought back from the thrift shop, cleaned and wrapped like new, but it piled up like bricks building something steady. One day, after bringing by a thermos of homemade chili, Jack lingered at their doorway. "I don't mean to overstep, Angie," he said, rubbing the back of his neck, "but you two have become the brightest part of my week, and if it's not too forward, maybe we could all grab burgers sometime? There's a place downtown that Rosie might like, comes with milkshakes." Angie didn't speak right away, then, slowly, she nodded. "Milkshakes sound good." So began the Saturdays. Not grand gestures, just walks in the park, games of Uno, helping Rosie with her spelling. Jack never rushed, never pried, but he stayed. And Angie, who'd built iron walls around her, heart found herself leaving little cracks open for sunlight. Rosie, of course, was all in from day one. One chilly December night, after decorating their little tree, Rosie climbed onto the couch where Jack and Angie sat side by side. She dropped a folded paper into Jack's lap. "What's this, sweet pea?" he asked. "It's your Christmas gift." He unfolded the paper, heart already tugged. It was the same letter, her letter, only this time she'd added a new line. "P.S. You don't have to marry Mom if you don't want to, but I still hope you stay." Jack swallowed hard. He looked at Angie. Her eyes were wet. She nodded, a whisper of a smile on her lips. "I'm not going anywhere," Jack said, voice thick. "I promise." Years passed. Jack didn't propose with a diamond ring at first. He proposed with a rebuilt porch swing, a bouquet of grocery store tulips, and a quiet question under the stars one summer evening when Rosie had fallen asleep watching fireworks. Angie said yes before he could even finish the sentence. Their wedding wasn't big, just close friends, a rented hall, and a chocolate sheet cake Rosie insisted on helping bake. But it was enough. It was perfect. At the reception, Rosie stood on a chair and tapped a spoon against her cup. "I wrote that letter when I was 8, she said, voice shaky but proud. "And I thought no one would read it, but Jack did. And because he did, my mom laughed again, and I got a dad." The room grew silent. Then the claps came, and the tears. Now, years later, in a modest home with chipped paint and a yard full of sunflowers, Angie and Jack sit on the porch swing he rebuilt. Rosie, now a teenager, bursts through the screen door, waving her acceptance letter to community college. "I got in," she cries. Jack rises first, arms open. Angie joins, wrapping them both in an embrace. And just for a second, time holds still. Love didn't come loud. It came in steady hands, leaky faucets, orange slices, and a letter left in the rain. And it stayed. Has kindness ever changed your life? Share your story in the comments. Someone might need to hear it today. This story is a work of fiction or dramatized for entertainment purposes. While it may be inspired by real human emotions and events, all characters, names, and situations are either entirely fictional or modified for storytelling. This content fully complies with YouTube's community guidelines and is intended to inspire, not mislead.